जय श्री राधे। ओ हे वैष्णव ठाकुर दयार सागर ए दासे करुणा कोरी। दयार सागर ए दासे करुणा कोरी। ओ हे वैष्णव ठाकुर दयार सागर हे दासे करुणा कोरी। दिया पद छाया छोड़ो है या माया तुम्हार चरण धोरी। ओ हे वैष्णव ठाकुर दयार सागर हे दासे करुणा कोरी। छाया वेग दोमी छाया दोष छोड़ी छाया गुण देहो दासे। छाया सत्संगा देहो है हमारे बोसे ची संगेरा आशे। ओ हे वैष्णव ठाकुर दयार सागर हे दासे करुणा कोरी। एकाकी आमार नाही पाया बल हरिनाम संकीर्तने। एकाकी आमार एकाकी आमार नाही पाया बल हरिनाम संकीर्तने। तुमी कृपा कोरी श्रद्धा बिंदु दिया देहो कृष्ण नाम धने। कृष्णा से तोमार कृष्णा दीते पारो तोमार शक्तिया छे। आमी तो कंगाल कृष्णा कृष्णा बोली धाई तब पाछे पाछे। ओ हे वैष्णव ठाकुर दयार सागर ए दासे करुणा कोरी। Now we can go to 14th chapter Bhagavad-gita. Yeah, very wishes. We can go there. विभावरी शेष आलोक प्रावेश निद्रा छाड़ी उठ जीवा ऋषेश आलोक प्रवेश निद्रा छाड़ी उठ जीवा बोलो हरि हरि मुकुंद मुरारी राम कृष्ण हयग्रीवा बोलो हरि हरि नरसिंह वामन श्री मधुसूदन राजेंद्र नंदन श्याम नरसिंह वामन पूतन घातन कैटभ शातन जय दशरथी राम पूतन घातन कैटभ शातन यशोदा दूलाल गोविंद गोपाल वृंदावन पुरंदर गोपी प्रिया जन राधिकर मन भुवन सुंदर बारा रावणांतर माखन तस्कर गोपी जन वस्त्रहारी रावणांतर माखन तस्कर गोपी जन वस्त्रहारी ब्रजेर राखाल गोप वृंदापाल चित्तहरि वंशीधारी ब्रजेर राखाल योगींद्र बंदन श्री नंदनंदन रज जना भयहारी योगींद्र बंदन श्री नंदनंदन रज जना भयहारी नवीन नीरद रूप मनोहर मोहन वंशी बिहारी यशोदानंदन कंसा निषूदन निकुंज रास विलासी करम्ब कानन रस परायण वृंद विपिन निवासी आनंदवर्धन प्रेमांते फूल शरजो जगताम आनंदवर्धन प्रेमांते फूल शरजो जगताम गोपांगना गण चित्त विनोदन समस्त गुण गण धामा गण चित्त विनोदन केलीपरायण मानस चंद्र चकोरा नाम सुभारत गाओ कृष्णा यश राखो वचन मन मोरा Hare Krishna. Go to the next one. What is next one, Mataji? You have to cover. This one. We can go to the 14th chapter if it's okay. 14th chapter. Yeah, we'll do the 14th chapter now, which is Gunatraya. It's part of the chant that we do every day. Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, chapter 14, the three modes of material nature. We can do the verses together and then we can do the translation. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Param Bhuya Pravakshyami Jnananam Jnanamuttamam Yajgyatva Munayah Sarve Param Siddhim Ito Gata Idam Jnanam Upashritya Mama Sadharmyam Agata Sargepi Nopajayante Pralayene Vatanti Cha Mama Yonir Mahad Brahma Tasmin Garbham Dadamyaham Sambhava Sarva Bhutanam Tato Bhavati Bharata Sarvayonishu Kaunteya Murtaya Sambhavantiyah Tasam Brahma Mahad Yonir Aham Bija Pradapita Sattvam Rajastama Iti Guna Prakriti Sambhava Nibadnanti Mahabaho Dehe Dehi Namavyayam Tatra Sattvat Nirmalatvat Prakashakam Anamayam Sukha Sangena Badnati Jnana Sangena Chanaga Rajo Ragatmakam Vidhi Krishna Sangha Samudbhavam Tadnimadnati Kaunteya Karma Sangena Dehinam Tamastvagaya Jam Vidhi Mohanam Sarvadehinam Pramadalasya Nidrabhis Tannibadnati Bharata Sattvam Sukhe Sanjayati Raja Karmani Bharata Jnanam Avritatu Tamaha Pramade Sanjati Uta Rajastamascha Sattvam Bhavati Bharata Raja Sattvam Tamaschaiva Tamah Sattvam Rajastatha Sarvadvareshu Dehasmi Prakasha Upajayate Jnanam Yada Tada Vidyat Vivriddham Sattvamityuta Lobha Pravrittirarambha Karmanam Ashamaspriya Rajasetani Jayante Vivridhe Bharatarshabha Aprakasho Pravrittascha Pramada Moha Evacha Tamasetani Jayante Vivridhe Kurunandana Yada Sattve Pravriddhetu Pralayam Yati Dehabhrit Tadottama Vidam Lokan Amalan Pratipadyate Rajasi Pralayam Gatva Karma Sangeshu Jayate Tatha Pralinastamasi Mudha Yoni Shujayate Karmana Sukratasyahu Satvikam Nirmalam Phalam Rajasastu Phalam Dukkham Ajnanam Tamasa Phalam Sattva Sanjayate Jnanam Rajaso Lobha Evacha Pramada Maho Tamaso Bhavato Jnanam Evacha Urdvam Gachanti Sattvastha Madhye Tishtanti Rajasa jaganya guna vrittistha adho gachanti tamasa nanyam gunebhya kartaram yada drashtanupashyati gunebhyascha param vetti madbhavam sodigacchati gunanetan atitya trin dehi deha samudbhava janma mrityu jara dukkhair vimokto mritamashnuते Arjuna vacha Kelingay strin gunanetan atito bhavati prabho himachara katham chaitam stin gunan avati vartate Shri Bhagavan uvacha prakashamscha pravrittimcha moham eva cha pandava na dveshti sampravrittani na nivrittani kankshati udasino vadasino guneryo na vichalyate guna vartanta ityevam yo vatishtati nengate sama dukkha sukha swastha sama loshtashma kanchana tulya priya priyo dhiras tulya nindatma samstuti manapamanayo tulyas tulyo mitrari pakshayo sarvarambha parityagi gunatita sa uchyate mam cha yo vyabicharena bhakti yogena sevate sa gunan samatityetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate brahmano hi pratishtaham amritasya vyayasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukhasya kantikasya cha Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad-Bhagavatam Shumanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga Nama Chaturdosho Adhyayah Hari Om. So we can do the translation. Chapter 14, the three modes of material nature, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. We can again read together. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Again I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection. By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature like my own. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation or disturbed at the time of dissolution. The total material substance, called Brahman, is the source of birth, and it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the births of all living beings, O son of Bharata. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. Material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these three modes. O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating, and it frees one from all sinful reactions. Those situated in that mode become conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings. O son of Kunti, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. O son of Bharata, know that the mode of darkness, born of ignorance, is the delusion of all embodied living entities. The results of this mode are madness, indolence, and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul. O son of Bharata, the mode of goodness conditions one to happiness, passion conditions one to fruitive action, and ignorance, covering one's knowledge, binds one to madness. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the modes of passion and ignorance, O son of Bharata. Sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and at other times ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy. The manifestation of mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. O chief of Bharatas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, and uncontrolled desire and hankering develop. When there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, O son of Kuru, darkness, inertia, badness, and illusion are manifested. When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets of the great sages. When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities, and when one dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom. The result of pious action is pure and is said to be in the mode of goodness, but action done in the mode of passion results in misery, and action performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness. From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops. And from the mode of ignorance develops foolishness, madness, and illusion. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets. And those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. When one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work than these modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental to all these modes, he attains my spiritual nature. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. Arjuna inquired, O my dear Lord, by which symptoms is one known who is transcendental to these three modes? What is his behavior, and how does he transcend the modes of nature? The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O son of Pandu, he who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present or long for them when they disappear, who is unwavering and undisturbed through all these reactions of the material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the modes alone are active, who is situated in the self and regards alike happiness and distress, who looks upon a lump of earth, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is equal towards the desirable and the undesirable, who is steady, situated equally well in praise and blame, honor and dishonor, who treats alike both friends and enemy, and who has renounced all material activities, such a person is said to have transcended the modes of nature. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. And I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal, and is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness. Hare Krishna.
Gopal Ram Giridhari Gopi Na Madana Giridhari Gopi Na Madana Hare Namo Krishna Gata Maya Namah Gata Maya Madhavaya Ketamaya Namah Hare Gopal Govinda Ram Madhusudana Gopal Govinda Ram Madhusudana Giridhari Gopina Madhana Mohana Gopal Govinda Ram Gopal Govinda Ram Madhusudana Giridhari Gopi Na Madana Mohana Hare Rama Krishna Hare Rama Yadavaya Yadavaya Madhavaya Ketamaya Namah Hare Hani Hare Rama Krishna Yadavaya Namah Yadavaya Madhavaya Ketamaya Namah Yadavaya Madhavaya Ketamaya Namah Hare Rama Krishna Gopal Govinda Ram Gopal Govinda Ram Madhusudana
Hare Krishna. Finally, third. Usually third time is the best time. Okay, Maji, we can go to Brahma Samhita. These are the prayers by Lord Brahma when he came out of the navel of Lord Vishnu. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Chintamani Prakara Sadmashu Kalpa Vriksha Lakshavriteshu Surabhira Bhipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambrahma Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamham bhajami Venum kvanantamaravinda dalaya taksham Barhavatam shamasitam buddha sundarangam Kandarpakoti kamaniya vishesha shobham Govindamadi purusham tamham bhajami Lola Chandra Kalasanvanamalle Vamshi Ratnan Gadam Pranaya Keli Kala Vilasham Shyamam Tribhanga Lalitam Niyata Prakasham Govindamadi Purusham Tamham Bhajami Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Vritti Manti Pashyanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti Nanda Chinmaya Sat Ujvala Vigrahasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamham Bhajami Advaitamachyutamanadi Mananta Rupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabam Adurlabam Atma Bhaktau Govindamadi Purusham Tamham Bhajami Pantastu koti shatavatsara sampragamyo Vayor athapi manu pungavanam Sopyasti yat prapadasimnya vichintya tatve Govindamadi purusham tamham bhajami Ekaupya saurachayitum jagad anda kotim Yachaktirasti jagad anda chayad antaha Andantarastha paramanu chayantarastham Govindamadi purusham tamham bhajami Yad bhava bhavitadiyo manujastathaiva Samprapya rupa mahimashanayana bhushaha Sukteryameva nigama prititaistu vanti Govindamadi purusham tamham bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabhes Tabhirya Eva Nijarupataya Kalabhi Goloka Eva Nivasatya Khilatma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamham Bhajami Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santah Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yamasham Sundaram Achintya Gunaswarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami Ramadi Murti Shukalani Yamena Tishthan Nanavataram Akarod Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Parama Pumanyo Govindamadi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagad Anda Koti Kotishvashesha Vasudhadi Vibhuti Bhinnam Tad Brahma Nishkalam Anantam Ashesha Bhutam Govindamadi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami Maya hi yasya Jagad Anda Shatani Sute Traigunya Tad Vishaya Veda Vitaya Mana Sattvavalambhi Parasatvam Vishuddha Sattvam Govindamadi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Rasatmataya Manasu Yaha Praninam Pratiphalam Smaratam Upetya स्थायितेन भुवनानि जयद्दजस्रं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तम् अहं भजामि। गोलोकनाम्नि निजधाम्नि तले च तस्य देवी महेशहरिधाम सुतेषु तेषु ते ते प्रभावनिचया विहिताश्च येन गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। सृष्टिस्थितिप्रलयसाधनशक्तिरेका छायेव यस्य भुवनानि बिभर्ति दुर्गा इच्छानुरूपमपि यस्य च चेष्टते सा गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तम् अहं भजामि। क्षीरं यथा दधिविकारविशेषयोगात् संजायते नहि तथा पृथक् अस्ति हेतो यः शम्भुतम् अपि तथा समुपैति कार्यात् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तम् अहं भजामि। दीपार्चिरे बहि दशान्तरमभ्युपेत्य दीपायता हेनुसमानधर्मा यस्तादृगे वहि च विष्णुतया विभाति गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तम् अहं भजामि। यः कारणार्णवजले भजति स्म योगा निद्रामनन्तजगदण्डसरोमकूपः आधारशक्तिमवलम्ब्य परां स्वमूर्तिं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तम् अहं भजामि। यस्यैकनिश्वसितकालमथावलम्ब्य जीवन्ति लोमविलजा जगदण्डनाथा विष्णुर्महान् स इह यस्य कलाविशेषो गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं तम् अहं भजामि। भास्वा यथाश्मशकलेषु निजेषु तेजः स्वीयं कियत् प्रकटयत्तद्वदत्र ब्रह्मा य एष जगदण्डविधानकर्ता गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तम् अहं भजामि। यत्पादपल्लवयुगं विनिधाय कुम्भ द्वन्द्वे प्रणामसमये स गणाधिराज विघ्नान् विहन्तुमलमस्य जगत्त्रयस्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तम् अहं भजामि। अग्निर्मही गगनमम्बुमरुद्दिशश्च कालस्तथात्ममनसीति जगत्त्रयाणि यस्माद्भवन्ति विभवन्ति विशन्ति यं च गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तम् अहं भजामि। यच्चक्षुरेष सविता सकलग्रहाणां राजा समस्तसुरमूर्तिरशेषतेजा यस्यज्ञया भ्रमति संवृतकालचक्रो विन्दमादिपुरुषं तम् अहं भजामि। धर्मोऽथ पापनिचया श्रुतयस्तपांसि ब्रह्मादिकीटपतगावदयश्च जीवा यद्दत्तमातृविभव प्रकटप्रभावा गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तम् अहं भजामि। यस्तेन्द्रगोपम् अथवेन्द्रम् अहो स्वकर्मा बन्धानुरूपफलभाजनमातनोति कर्माणि निर्दहति किन्तु च भक्तिभाजां गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं तम् अहं भजामि। यं क्रोधकामसहजप्रणयादिभीति वात्सल्यमोहगुरुगौरवसेव्यभावे सञ्चिन्त्य तस्य सदृशीं तनुमापुरेते गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तम् अहं भजामि। गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं तम् अहं भजामि। श्रिया कान्ता कान्ता परमपुरुषकल्पतरवो ध्रुमा भूमिश्चिन्तामणिगणमयी तोयम् अमृतं कथागानं नाट्यं गमनम् अपि वंशी प्रियसखी चिदानन्दं ज्योति परमपि तद् आस्वाद्यम् अपि च स यत्र क्षीराब्धि श्रवति सुरभिभ्यश्च सुमहान् निमेषार्धाख्यो वा व्रजति नहि यत्रापि समय भजे श्वेताद्वीपं तम् अहम् इह गोलोकमिति यं विदन्तस्ते सन्तः क्षितिविरलचारकटिपये। अथोवाच महाविष्णुर्भगवन्तं प्रजापतिं ब्रह्मन्महत्त्वविज्ञाने प्रजासर्गे च चेन्मति पंचश्लोकीम इमां विद्यां वत्स दत्तां निबोध मे प्रबुद्धे ज्ञान भक्तिभ्याम आत्मन्यानंद चिन्मयी उदेत्यनुत्मा भक्तिर भगवत प्रेम लक्षणा प्रमाणैस्तत्सदाचारैस्तत् अभ्यासे निरन्तरं बोधयन् आत्मनात्मानं भक्तिम् अप्युत्तमं लभेत् यस्याश्रयकरं नास्ति यया निवृत्तिम् आप्नुयात् या साधयति मामेव भक्तिं तम् एव साधयेत् धर्माम् अन्यन् परित्यज्य मामेकं भज विश्वसन् यादृशी श्रद्धा सिद्धिर्भवति तादृशी कुर्वन् निरन्तरं कर्म लोकोऽयम् अनुवर्तते तेनैव कर्मणा ध्यायन् मां परां भक्तिमिच्छति अहम् हि विश्वस्य चराचरस्य बीजं प्रधानं प्रकृतिपुमांश मया हितं तेज इदं बिभर्षि विदेहि त्वम् अथो जगन्ति ईश्वर परम कृष्ण सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादिर्गोविंद सर्वकारण कारणम इति श्री ब्रह्म समित संपूर्णम हरि ओम. We can go to Shat Goswami Ashtakam. This is one of my favorite bhajan. It's written by Srinivas Acharya. Yeah, Srinivas Acharya, Narottam Das Thakur, Shyamananda Rai, Shyamananda Pandit. They all three were considered as one of the first book distributors who started. So later on, others followed. Actually, can we get a kartal? You have, right? Okay. We can get one more. You do, and we can get one more kartal from there. I will see otherwise. Yes, Prabhu. So whenever we used to go for book distribution, that is around 2018, 2019, before starting our marathon, this was in December, myself, Krishna Saka Prabhu, Manjari, used to three go, and before reaching to the spot, Christmas in the park, we used to sing this bhajan, taking the blessings of the 6 Goswamis. It's Kartik month, and actually whatever we have got is through these 6 Goswamis, empowered by Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. कृष्णो कीर्तन गान नर्तन परौ प्रेमामृतांबो निधि धीर धीर जना प्रिय प्रिय करौ निर्मत्सरौ पूजितौ श्री चैतन्य कृपा भरौ शास्त्र विचारनैक निपुणौ सद्धर्म संस्थापकौ लोकानां हितकारिणौ त्रिभुवने मान्यौ शरण्याकरौ राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्द भजना नन्देन मत्तालिकौ वन्दे रूप सनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ श्रीगौराङ्गगुणानुवर्णनविधौ श्रद्धा समृद्धन्वितौ पापोतापनिकृन्तनौ तनुभृता गोविन्दगाणामृतये आनन्दाम्बुदिवर्धनैकनिपुणौ कैवल्यनिस्तारकौ वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ ससार सगणा कीर्णे मयूराकुले नानारत्ननिबद्धमूलविटपा श्रीयुक्तवृन्दावने राधा कृष्णमहर्निशं प्रभजतौ जीवार्थदौ यौ मुदा वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ सङ्ख्यापूर्वकनामगाननटिभिः कालावसानीकृतौ निद्राहारविहारकादिविजितौ चात्यन्तदीनौ च यौ राधाकृष्णगुणस्मृतेर्मधुरिमा नन्देन सम्मोहितौ वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ राधाकुण्डतटे कलिन्दतनया तीरे च वंशीवटे प्रेमोन्मादवशादशेषदशया ग्रस्तौ प्रमत्तौ सदा गायन्तौ च कदा हरेर्गुणवरं भावाभिभूतौ मुदा वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ हे राधे व्रजदेवी के च ललिते हे नन्दसूनो सुता श्रीगोवर्धनकल्पपादपतले कालिन्दीवने कुता गोषन्ताविति सर्वतो व्रजपुरे खेदेर्महावीवलौ वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ Hari Prabhu, you are amazing. Okay. Now we will quickly do the Mangalacharan prayers. The reason we do Mangalacharan prayers is to get auspiciousness. And especially today is a very, very auspicious day. His Holiness Romapad Maharaj will be giving initiations. Long back I used to hear his lectures a lot, especially his PPTs. Amazing the way he present Srimad-Bhagavatam in such an easy way to everyone. We are fortunate this time he is coming to the temple. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Caitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrijatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Caitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिने नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे विशेषशून्यवादी भाष्यदेशतारिणे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं देव श्री गुरु परमानंद माधवं शेष। Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for coming. It's a Kartik month. Very fortunate to be given the opportunity to speak something from Srimad-Bhagavatam. If we see between Bhagavad-gita and Srimad-Bhagavatam, we can actually draw a lot of parallels. Of all the Vedic scriptures that has been given to us by Ved Vyasji, Srimad-Bhagavatam and Bhagavad-gita, these are the two most essential scriptures. Bhagavad-gita explains in the introduction, Srila Prabhupada mentions that how of all the scriptures, Bhagavad-gita is the most important, and Arjuna is like a calf, and Krishna is like the cow, and Arjuna is taking the milk from that cow. And especially in Srimad-Bhagavatam, Nigama kalpataro galitam phalam shukamukhatam tadabhisamutam pibata bhagavatam rasamayalam muhu ahorasika bhuvi bhavukaha. That this Srimad-Bhagavatam is the mature fruit of all Vedic literatures. Mature fruit. So we know that how Srimad-Bhagavatam, all the Vedic scriptures were written, and then finally Vedanta Sutra was written. And the commentary on that Vedanta Sutra is Srimad-Bhagavatam. Right. So we are very fortunate to be given a chance to read from Srimad-Bhagavatam, especially when it is, the commentary is written by a very pure, advanced Vaishnava. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, we're very fortunate. In the second canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that how there are 10 topics which are covered in Srimad-Bhagavatam. Right? Can you name some of them? The 10 topics which are covered in Srimad-Bhagavatam. Sarga, which is primary creation. Visarga, secondary creation. It is mentioned in second canto, chapter number 10, verse number, sorry, you were saying something? Utaya. Uti. Uti means impetus to create something. Right? Uti. Sthanam. Sthanam Poshanam. Manvantara. Ishanam Katha. Nirodho Mukti Ashraya. These are 10 topics. Jiva Goswami explains that these 10 topics, every canto covers these 10 topics. But Sridhar Swami, who is the original commentator of Srimad-Bhagavatam, he mentions that every canto actually focuses on each and every topic of this verse. Actually, we can go to that verse, Mataji. It's on 2.10.1, I suppose. Atra sarga visargascha sthanam poshnamutaya manvantere shanukata nirodho mukti rashraya. Today we'll be discussing from the 10th canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Because it's Kartik month, I thought to speak something from the 10th canto. And especially, obviously, the inspiration came from Mali Mataji when she covered first chapter from the 10th canto. I thought maybe I should just follow her footsteps. It's 2:10:1. Yeah. So here, Sarga. The third canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam talks about the primary creation, Sarga, Sridhar Swami explains. And Visarga talks about the secondary creation, which is the fourth canto that explains Visarga. And Sthanam, Vedic cosmology, which really spins my head. That comes from the fifth canto, that is Sthanam, right? Situation of the planets, planetary systems. And Poshanam, protection, right? Which is the pastime, most famous pastime where you can think of. The protection is given very mercifully. Lord Nrsimhadev, that is one, yes. Gajendra Moksham. For sixth canto, it is a Jamil, right? We think that, if we read Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, he mentions that just by keeping the name of his son as Narayan, he had already, all the sinful activities that he had gathered was all destroyed, just by keeping the name. That is the potency of holy name, and that is the merciful nature of Krishna. And at the end of the life, when he was about to leave this world, Krishna sends the Yamadutas just to give him a glance of that, what he had done. But immediately Vaikuntha, Vishnudutas came to protect. That was such a merciful nature of Krishna. And in the sixth canto, if you read that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, he writes, there is a discussion between the Yamadutas and Vishnudutas, where Yamadutas are giving the reasons why this guy has to be taken off to Yamaraj. And Vishnudutas are saying, no, we cannot take him to there. He has to go to Vaikuntha. Poshanam, protection. When Krishna has to protect, then there is no way. So, Poshanam. And Uti. Uti means the creation to, the impetus to create. And that is explained in the 7th canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Right? What is the reason to create? What is the reason to create this material world? Is given by the example of Hiranyakashipu, right? Lust. That was the reason. That is the entire reason why this material world is created. Uti. And obviously then 8th canto talks about Manvantaras, Ishanu Katha. That talks about 9th canto, which is Lord Ramachandra and Parshuram. Right? Parshuram. And then we have Nirodhar, Muktir, Ashraya. And Ashraya is the 10th canto, which is the Sammam Bonam. The final shelter. We can go here and there, anywhere. Right? But final shelter is Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? We might run left, right, center, everywhere we might run. You might think that this, if I do this, then I will become happy. I'll do that, then I will become happy. But then we realize at the end that it's actually Krishna that will give us happiness. Right? It is actually Krishna. So that is what the entire Srimad-Bhagavatam talks about. And in Bhagavad-gita, if we see, it starts with setting the scene. Oh, I forgot. So what is the first canto that what talks about, right? Because we started from the 3rd canto to 12th canto, 10 topics. So first canto, it talks about what is the qualities that a devotee should have in order to listen Srimad-Bhagavatam. What are the qualities? And obviously the biggest quality is desperation, right? Desperation to hear. Sridhar Swami explained that is the first canto talks about that. Vedvyasji had that curiosity to listen from Narad Muni, right? Naimisharanya Rishis also wanted to hear from Sutta Goswami. But the desperation that Parikshit Maharaj had to hear from Shukadeva Goswami, that is topmost. And that is why in Shravana, he is the one who is personified, right? Parikshit Maharaj. While I was just about to reach Latham Street, I was just thinking when that desperation will come in my life. But then I immediately realized that desperation, you have to be in a very bad situation. Like Arjuna, he said, Karpane dosha pahata svabhava. What was his situation? He was about to kill his own relatives, right? And then Parikshit Maharaj was about to die in 7 days. Then I realized, I don't have that desperation. It cannot come. When we say when chips are down, that's when person realizes that he has to do something about it. When we have these sessions like for newcomers, like discover yourself and all, we have to create the desperation for them, right? We have to tell ahar nidra bhai maitunam cha, oh, otherwise you will be like animals, and then they realize, oh yes, dharma, you have to seek answers to the question, but we have to create that impetus. In Srimad-Bhagavatam and Bhagavad-gita, we see that the devotees itself had that desperation, deep desperation, to hear from advanced Vaishnav, right? And when you're talking about Bhagavad-gita and Srimad-Bhagavatam, we can very clearly see that both are running parallelly in terms of the mood. First chapter talks about the setting of the scene, right? And Krishna is not speaking only. Who is the main speaker of Bhagavad-gita? Krishna, right? He is the main speaker. And obviously it's been assisted by Arjuna's amazing questions, right? And similarly in Srimad-Bhagavatam also you see, Shukadeva Goswami doesn't speak only, first canto. He doesn't speak at all, right? It's all assisted by setting up the scene. And then Parikshit Maharaj starts asking questions. It's very much in line. Then we see Bhagavad-gita is divided into 3 parts, right? And the initial 6 chapters talks about Karma Yoga. Similarly, we see in Srimad-Bhagavatam also, right? This is a story of Dhruv Maharaj, right? Was he trying to achieve Krishna because he wanted to attain highest devotional service? No. It was out of, he wanted to have a kingdom greater than his great-grandfather, right? Great-grandfather. Even greater than Brahma, not possible. Brahma is the first creature, first living entity, is the highest. So he was asking for something which is very, very difficult to get, right? So that's why he says, Narada, that, these things will not work. I want highest thing. So we see that Karma Yoga is there in the initial section. And then, which is the main section of entire Bhagavad-gita? 9th section, right? That is exactly in the middle of the Bhagavad-gita, 9th section, which is the most confidential knowledge. Similarly, in Srimad-Bhagavatam also, the 10th canto is the most important section of entire Srimad-Bhagavatam, correct? When we start, we think, when will we reach? To the sweet pastimes of Krishna. But the first 9 cantos only complete 9,000 verses. From 10th canto, actually, you start from the other half of the canto, of the Srimad-Bhagavatam. So again, you're in the middle, like how in Bhagavad-gita, in the middle of the entire book. Similarly, when you're actually entering 10th canto, you're in the middle of Srimad-Bhagavatam. So after 3.5 days, Parikshit Maharaj starts, Shukadeva Goswami starts talking about the most important subject, obviously the Ashraya, that is Srimad-Bhagavatam. And at the end, Bhagavad-gita talks about what? It talks about Jnana Yoga, right? 13th chapter, 14th chapter talks about Jnana Yoga. 13th chapter, I remember. When I just started speaking in, there was one temple, San Bruno temple. Somehow, I was given the 13th chapter only. And 13th chapter is considered one of the most technical chapter, intricate. And then somehow I prepared something and then I presented and then I asked, so you all understood what we discussed? One of the person after the class asked me, did you understand whatever you spoke? One of the most technical. Jnana Yoga, it said Jnana Yoga. So, similarly we see, but that Jnana Yoga is for what? Jnana Yoga is for renunciation, right? That's why the 18th chapter is considered the perfection of renunciation, right? Jnana Yoga is talks about renunciation. Similarly, 11th canto, also it's Uddhav Gita. It talks about how one can then, it talks about Jnana Yoga, again to achieve renunciation. Especially 12th canto, obviously, if you see the symptoms of Kali Yuga, then obviously you'll feel that pain. And especially 5th canto, last little bit chapters, just read about the hellish planets. You'll not be able to sleep at night, right? So we see that there is a lot of parallels which is drawn between Bhagavad-gita and Srimad-Bhagavatam. Again, in Bhagavad-gita, we have 2nd chapter summarizing the entire Srimad-Bhagavatam, Bhagavad-gita, 2nd chapter. And similarly, in Srimad-Bhagavatam also, we have 1st canto, 2nd chapter, almost summarizing entire Srimad-Bhagavatam. right? So we see that lot of parallels are there in Vedic and even with other Vedic scriptures. We can draw these parallels. Especially in Srimad-Bhagavatam, it talks about what is the nature of a living entity, of a jiva in this Kali Yuga. Can we go to second canto, chapter number 10th? No, not that one. 1110. Can we go to 1110? Prayanalpasya sabhya kalavasmi yuge janaha. That verse. Yeah, you can repeat after me. Prayanal payusha sabhya kalavasmi yuge janaha manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya yupadrita. Right, this is the nature of Kali Yuga. It explains. Can we go down? O learned one, in this iron age of Kali, men almost always have but short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and always disturbed. So, Anji, can we go up again? So this is the translation, and Srila Prabhupada gives a long purport. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his commentary, he takes a very different approach. He takes it as a ladder ladder you can think of down or up, depends on how you want to see. But he says that in Kali Yuga, everyone is already struggling with a very short lives, right? We all have very short lives. It's not like Dhruv Maharaj, where we are living for 36,000 years or 60,000 years. We have a lot of time, right? If let's say 1 year is wasted, we will have 35,999 years to complete our devotional service. Here it's gone. And in fact, more than that, the age of Kali Yuga, the problem is untimely death. Right? Kali Yuga, if you see the symptoms, one of the symptoms mentioned is untimely death. You never know. You never know when. Yeah, there was one devotee I remember in Chowpatty. Suddenly something happened. So we see that untimely death. Here also we see. Right? This is common to everyone. Untimely death that happens. So, Prayanalpasya sabhya. There is a very short life that each and every one of us have. Very short life. But then, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that, let's say, due to some reason, by Krishna's mercy, you get to live for 100 years. Right? Let's say you get to live for 100 years. Then what? Manda. Manda means, even if you get 100 years to live, but we are lazy. We don't have time. Right? We don't have time. So let's say we get the 100 years, which is already a lot. Right? I mean, in UK, if you complete 100 years, then the queen, she sends a congratulatory letter to the person. If you have the eyes remaining, that power to see, then you can read that congratulatory letter that you have completed 100 years of your life. But anyways, even if you get that 100 years to live, but then we don't have time. Right? We don't have time. You go for book distribution, you just ask someone, come to the temple, right? They will say, yes, we will come, right? But it's so difficult, right? It's so difficult for them to actually come and give their time to hear Harikatha, right? People don't have time. People are just struggling, right? 9 to 5 job, and then after that in the evening, on calls, Saturday, Sunday on call, right? Time just goes by. And then on top of it, because we cannot say I don't have time, we have some excuse, right? We have some excuse to say why we cannot make it. But the root of the cause is we don't have time. So Krishna is saying that Prayanalpasya sabhya. Let's say you have hundreds of years with you, but then the problem comes that we don't have time, right? We don't have time. And then it says, Sumandamati. Let's say we get time also. We get the time. We are very fortunate now. We get the time. Somehow we decided that, okay, I will come. We get the time. But then, Sumandamati, we don't have the intelligence to actually understand that. You're understanding? There's an order. So you have 100 years to live. Let's say you got 100 years, but you don't have time. Let's say you got time also, but then Sumandamati. You don't have the intelligence to understand. right? You don't have the intelligence to understand. And that's what Kali Yuga is, right? We have short memories. We don't remember things, correct? When we hear a class, after the end of the class, we feel so excited. Yes, we want to practice devotional service, but by the time we reach home, we are back to square one, right? That's just the nature of the material world. I mean, Durga Devi is amazing, right? I mean, obviously, Krishna says in, Brahmaji says in Srimad-Bhagavatam, Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya, Sadhana, Shakti, Rekha, that Durga Devi gets her strength through Krishna. Govindam Adi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami. But it's just amazing that we have just heard something, right? By the time we go back home, we feel, live like king size. Ye zindagi milegi na dobara. Just enjoy, right? Immediately the things just changed, right? Then again we come on Sunday, we hear Vaishya Prabhu's class. Then again, by the time we reach home, things starts to, melt down. Sumandamati, because we are unintelligent. That's the nature of this material world, right? And then, let's say due to some reason, you get that intelligence also, that, okay, I want to approach a right person, right? I want to approach someone, right person, to get that knowledge. But then what happens? Manda Bhagya. We are unfortunate. We are misguided by some unscrupulous men, right? Even if let's say we have the intelligence, finally we get the intelligence, okay, let me become sincere, but it's possible that we might approach a person who himself or herself is not up to the mark, right? Prahlad Maharaj says, blind men following the blind men. Blind men following the blind men, right? So, we have the 100 years, we got the 100 years. Manda, we got the time also. So, Mandamati, we got the intelligence also. I have to become serious. But then Manda Bhagya, we get unfortunate situations. We don't get right people. And then, finally, Vishwan Chakravarti Thakur says, let's say, you got the fortune also. You got the fortune. Manda Bhagya, it's no longer Manda Bhagya. You got the fortune that you got the right person also. But then what happens? Upadhrita. We are disturbed. Whenever we are sitting in the class, there was some or the other disturbance. Today when when I was sitting, about to sit, I was thinking, hopefully I don't I don't get to sleep. I don't sleep. Otherwise, because sometimes you don't get full sleep and then you think, oh, if Shamru Prabhu was saying, right, that getting up early in the morning is so important, right? And first thing we think that, Prabhu was mentioning that first thing if we feel that, oh, we have not got proper sleep, then we think that, oh, today could be. So like this, everyone, while sitting also in the class, they will have some other disturbance, right? Some other disturbance will be there. Oh, how long this class will go, right? Oh, 10 o'clock, looks like I'm already feeling hungry, right? It can be anything, but the disturbance will be there continuously. Even while chanting, the disturbance will be there continuously. So Vishwan Shakti Thakur says that the final nail in the coffin is that disturbance. Is that disturbance that continues at Jiva. Because of that, it is difficult for Jiva to practice Krishna consciousness to the fullest, right? So amazing what Vishwan Shakti Thakur writes in the book, how this material world is created. It's just, it should actually, seeing this verse, it should make us humble, that we think we are the controller, right? We think we are the controller, but actually we are not. And that's why Brahma Samhita, Krishna is saying, Brahmaji is saying, Ishvara Parama Krishna, right? If you see, husband thinks he is the boss of the house. Wife thinks she is the boss of the house. But actually, kids are the boss of the house. They will take you here, there, everywhere. I was reading one thing, it was mentioned that marriage is an institution where the man loses his bachelor's degree and wife gains her master's degree. Right? So that is what controllership is. Everybody wants to be a controller. Everybody wants to be a controller, right? When I first joined corporate world, that was in 2010, and it was in India. So within 5 days, I asked my colleague, when will I become manager? Because what I was seeing was the manager was having a good time. At least you will see, right? The grass is always green on the other side. So he was assigning the work, and then he was, when I saw from the side, he was playing solitaire. So, now it is 10 time, old time. Obviously, here we see it's a different culture, but in India. So everyone wants to become controller. Each one of us want to become controller. But what does controller mean in Sanskrit? Ishvara. Right? So Brahmaji is saying Ishvara. But Brahmaji is saying that Ishvara Parama Krishna. That Krishna, here there are a lot of Ishvaras, but they are all minute Ishvaras. Right? All minute Ishvaras. That is why these three things, the three kinds of miseries are continuously there on us. Adhyatmik, right? Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik and Adi Daivik. Right? Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik and Adi Daivik. Adhyatmik, something or the other is stress, depression, anxiety, something or the other is there. Right? It is said that 1 in every 3 person goes to a psychiatrist. And every psychiatrist goes to other psychiatrist. He has heard so much from other people. Thinks, okay, I have to also attend someone. Right? So some or the other problem of oneself is inflicting on, a person is inflicting on oneself. Adi Bhautik, what to say, right? We are all living to either Grahastha ashram or Brahmachari ashram. There is always some conflicts, right? Adi Bhautik. And then Adi Daivik, floods, tsunami, right? Something or the other keeps coming. We had recently COVID 3 years, right? So we see that how one small insect or whatever organism can stall the entire world. So we see Ishvara Parama Krishna. We are all trying to become the controller, but finally the controller is Krishna. Final controller is Krishna. Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karna Karnam. He is the cause of all causes. And our today's discussion is exactly on that how different people are trying to become controller. It's like a drama. This story is like a drama. Everyone is trying to become controller, but then they are realizing that actually Krishna is the supreme controller. Everyone is trying their best. Maybe this time I will try. This time I will try. We all are trying our best. But then we get humbled by situations. So we'll read from 10th canto, chapter number 56. That is story behind Syamantaka jewel. When I was reading through this chapter, what I realized, one of the observations that I did, I was seeing was somehow most of the personalities that are part of this section, or you can say items also in this case, Syamantaka jewel, it all starts from S. Most of them. There is, we'll see Shankachuda is there. It's not there in this, but Radhanand Maharaj was giving a class in Vrindavan once in Govardhana, and he gives the backdrop of this entire Syamantaka jewel story. We'll discuss that a little bit. Shankachuda, Syamantaka, Sun God, Sri Krishna, then we have Shatrajit. All is there's more when we'll go through it. So then I thought maybe we'll discuss some of the points that covers this entire one chapter. It has, I think, 34, 40 verses, around 40 verses are there. So we'll discuss some of the points. The topic I kept is 9S. We'll see how many we can cover. The base, the foundation of this chapter is that each and every one of us is trying to enjoy this material world. And Krishna, by some or the other means, is trying to correct us or humble us. But each one of us, at least I can tell for myself, trying to enjoy this material world. Yeah. So we'll start Actually, can we go to the first verse? And each one of us can read one translation, and then we can start. Prabhu, you want to? Yeah, from here. Hari, Prabhu, you can start. So now we are starting the story behind the Syamantaka jewel.
Shukadeva Goswami said, Having offended Lord Krishna, Satyajit tried as best he could to atone by presenting him with his daughter and the Syamantaka jewel.
Yeah. So Shukadeva Goswami is now talking about, already he is giving some hints. So,
Maharaj Parikshit inquired, O Brahmana, why did King Satyajit do to offend Lord Krishna? Where did he get the Syamantaka jewel? And why did he give his daughter to the Supreme Lord?
yeah, this is very nice, right? See, a lot of times when someone is speaking, like here also, if you see Arjuna, Bhagavad-gita and Srimad-Bhagavatam, they both, Arjuna also, Krishna answered all the questions that Arjuna had within first 2 chapters only, second and third, he completed. And similarly for Srimad-Bhagavatam also, whatever questions that Parikshit Maharaj had, Shukadeva Goswami completed in first, second, third cantos only. But still, Parikshit Maharaj and both Arjun, they had the intensity to ask more questions. Vaishika Prabhu says that he sometimes says that we should pray that we get the association of some advanced Vaishnav, and then we should also get the intelligence to take advantage of that Vaishnav. We should also get the intelligence to take advantage of the Vaishnav. Here, Parikshit Maharaj could have just said, okay, so, next. Right? But he actually inquired that, wait, why that incident even happened? Right? Why that incident even happened? So, I was just remembering when I was reading this verse that we need to have that curiosity to even take that association. We can take that association, but then that will remain as a vapu only. But that vapu, how it can translate to Vani so that it can go for longer duration of life. If we really see Srila Prabhupada when he left, who are really able to follow the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, the disciples of Srila Prabhupada are the ones who are actually were focused also on the Vani of Srila Prabhupada, right? So the second point is this only, that, and second verse talks about this thing, that Parikshit Maharaj wanted to hear more. He realized, I have only 7 days. Let me take out as much as I can, otherwise I will lose this opportunity. So that's why he is asking questions to Parikshit Maharaj. He's asking questions to Shukadeva Goswami. Actually, as soon as Malini said, I started feeling anxiety. She is very... No. You can give your realizations as well. So now we'll go to the next verse, third. Thank you.
Shukadeva Goswami said, Surya, the sun god, felt his affection for his devotee Satyajit. Acting as his greatest friend, the demigod gave him the jewel called Syamantaka as a token of his satisfaction.
Thank you, Prabhu. So Shukadeva Goswami, Satyajit, Surya, Syamantaka, right? So the backdrop actually Radhan Maharaj gives in, he was giving a class in Govardhan in a place called Shyamvan. Okay, again another S. He was giving a class in Shyamvan, and he mentions that how once there was a demon called Shankarchuda, and Shankarchuda was a very great devotee of Kuber. And Kuber is known for possessor of wealth, right? And he gives wealth when someone prays. So Shankarchuda was a great devotee of Kuber. We see that time and again, that when someone is a devotee of a devata, they always have some ulterior motive. That you will hardly see someone saying that I am a great devotee of Krishna and I am into some intoxication, right? It's very rare, very rare. Obviously, that might happen because of some inbuilt anarthas, right? But it's very rare. But for devatas, there's always some ulterior motive that might be there. We see Nalakuvera Manigriva, right? Sons of Kuber. And here also we see Shankarchuda, devotee of Kuber, but he was completely intoxicated by the wealth. He was completely intoxicated. So what he decided? He decided to go to the place where Krishna and Balram were performing Rasa Leela with the gopis. And then what happens? As the human tendency is, they want to have the Lakshmi without Narayan. Right? Without Narayan. And that's why Lakshmi ji is Chanchala. Lakshmi ji thinks that My husband is not here. What will I do? Right? So Shankachuda said that why they are having, I should be enjoying. And then because of that, there's a fierce fight between Krishna and Shankachuda. And then Shankachuda obviously gets defeated. And then Krishna takes that Syamantaka jewel, because the Syamantaka jewel was actually with, that money was with this guy. He was very, very wealthy. So that wealth was coming through that Syamantaka jewel. We will see that what that Syamantaka jewel can actually do. So he gets that, Krishna gets that Syamantaka jewel, and then he gives it to Balramji. And that Balramji then, long story short, he gives it to Srimati Radharani. And Srimati Radharani gives that Syamantaka jewel to Surya, sun god Vivashwan. And then from Vivashwan, when Shatrajit was doing intense prayers, sun god becomes, Surya Dev became very, very pleased with him. And then, as a token of satisfaction, he gave him the Syamantaka jewel. So that is the backdrop of how Satyajit actually got the Syamantaka jewel from sun god Surya Dev. Okay, we'll go to the next verse, 4th verse.
Wearing the jewel on his neck, Satyajit entered Dwarka. He shone as brightly as the sun itself, O king, and thus he went unrecognized because of the jewel's effulgence.
Yeah. 5th verse we can read.
As the people looked at Satyajit from a distance, his brilliance blinded them. They presumed he was the sun god Surya and went to tell Lord Krishna, who was at that time playing at dice.
So we see here that we see multiple things here. One is that people looked at Satyajit, and because he was wearing the Syamantaka jewel from a distance, what they thought, he is a Surya Dev. Right? So the first thing that we have to learn is we should not speculate. We should not speculate. They all started speculating without actually knowing who he was. Right? And that is a very human tendency. The reason why many people around the world has become atheist is because of the speculation that came from Darwin and Dawkins. Right? Speculation. They didn't have the complete picture, but speculation. In fact, Darwin, he writes to A.R. Wallace, in the letter he writes that I don't have the complete picture, and that's why I'm speculating. But that letter is not obviously shared in public, in the textbooks, but the other part is shared. It's the assumption. The assumption can be very, very dangerous sometimes, speculation. And we see that at various sections of Srimad-Bhagavatam also, right? We see Parikshit Maharaj, right? He might have fought so many battles, right? But suddenly in one battle, he became hungry and thirsty. He goes to the ashram of Shamik Rishi. Shamik Rishi was meditating, and he speculated that, oh, this guy is not giving me proper welcome, right? He's not giving proper welcome. So that speculation led to curse, right? Speculation. So here the same thing, Acharya explained that we should not speculate. It can be detrimental in our spiritual life also. We see the same, and then what happens is, in fact, in that section of Parikshit Maharaj has to always think, why dead snake, why dead snake? I was to think. And then actually Srila Prabhupada writes in the commentary that Shamik Rishi gave a cold welcome to Parikshit Maharaj. That's what Parikshit Maharaj took. It was a cold welcome. Cold welcome means, warm welcome means, you are giving that warm welcome, your eye-to-eye contact is there, you are seeing that person. Cold welcome means you are ignoring that person. So to reciprocate with that cold welcome, he put a dead snake, because dead people, after certain hours, they become cold. The presence of consciousness is the one that gives you warmth. The body gets warmth. But that when the soul is not there, cold. Body is cold. So that's how the reciprocation is. Srila Prabhupada writes in the commentary. So we see that speculation. We see in Mahabharata, Draupadi and Kunti Maharani, when Arjuna brings Draupadi along with the brothers, right? That time we see Kunti, Mother Kunti, she just assumed that, it's some things that these people have brought. So she just said, share with everyone, between 5 of you, right? Again, she did not see. Here also they did not see. They did not try to get, okay, what is that behind that effulgence? Who is that? Right? If we see Brahmavadis, they are also same. They are just seeing that effulgence and they feel it's all in all. They don't want to inquire who is that behind that effulgent. Shyamasundar Krishna. 14th chapter Bhagavad-gita says, Krishna says, 27, Brahmano hi pratishtam. I am the source of that effulgence. I am the source of that effulgence. So here also we see that speculation can be very detrimental. Anji, can we go to Madhya Lila 18th chapter, verse number, we can start from 92 verse. It's around 10 verses. There is also same thing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is chastising Balabhadra and all the citizens that you all are speculating that there is a Kaliya. But there is no Kaliya there. Anji, we can go to the advanced version and we can do 92. 92. Yeah, we can just read the translation. We can go down. One morning, many people came to Akrura Tirth. As they came from Vrindavan, they made a tumultuous sound. Yeah, you can go down. We can read the translation. Upon seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the people offered respects at his lotus feet. The Lord then asked them, where are you all coming from? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking, right? The people replied, Krishna has again manifested himself on the waters of Kaliya lake. So all the citizens were thinking that Krishna has again come. He has again come and he is dancing on the hoods of Kaliya. He dances on the hoods of serpent Kaliya and the jewels on the hoods are blazing. Everyone has seen Lord Krishna himself. There is no doubt about it. Hearing this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to laugh. He then said, everything is correct. Why is he saying everything is correct? Because they are actually seeing Krishna. But not that Krishna on the Kaliya, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Right? For 3 successive nights, people went to Kaliya Daha to see Krishna and everyone returned saying, now we have seen Krishna himself. Right? Everyone came before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and said, now we have directly seen Lord Krishna. Thus by the mercy of Goddess of Learning, they were made to speak the truth, right? We have directly seen Krishna, but actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they had seen. When the people saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they actually saw Krishna, but because they were following their own imperfect knowledge, they accepted the wrong thing as Krishna. At that time, Balabhadra Bhattacharya placed a request at the lotus feet. Now, Balabhadra Bhattacharya is a person who is being very close to Krishna. And still, that's what? So near yet so far. Right? Near yet so far. So here also he said, please give me permission to see Lord Krishna directly. Krishna is there, but he's also speculating that, that there near the river, he's there. When Balabhadra Bhattacharya asked to see Krishna, can we go down? At Kaliya Daha, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mercifully slapped him, saying, you are a learned scholar, but you have become a fool being influenced by the statements of other fools. Right? So he's saying that, why would Krishna appear in the age of Kali? Foolish people who are mistaken are simply causing agitation and making tumult. Do not become mad. Simply sit down here and tomorrow night you will go see Krishna. Right? So basically, finally they realized, we'll see the entire thing. In the 140, they say, these respectable gentlemen replied, at night in Kaliya lake, a fisherman lights a torch in his boat and catches many fish. So that boat, they thought as a Kaliya, hoods, and that fisherman who was standing on the boat, they thought is Krishna. Right? So again, they assumed. Right? And Ishopanishad, Srila Prabhupada, Ishopanishad, he starts only with saying that there are 3 ways to acquire knowledge. First is Pratyaksha Praman, direct perception. Second is Anuman Praman. What is Anuman Praman? Speculation. 3 ways of acquiring knowledge. One of the ways is Anuman Praman. And third is Shabda Praman. Right? So hearing from the authority. We will see that. They will also hear from the authority. Okay, Manji, we can go back to the Srimad-Bhagavatam, 5th verse. Yeah. Who was reading? Sorry, someone can read the 6th verse now. So 5th was what we read, speculation. Right? Speculation.
The residents of Dwarka said, Obeisances unto you, O Narayana, O holder of the conch, disc and club, O lotus-eyed Damodara, O Govinda, O cherished descendant of Yadu.
Yeah. So 6th talks about seeking the attention of Krishna. How can you seek the attention of Krishna? Is by glorifying him. Last time Malini Mataji was mentioning about 10th canto 1st chapter, and she was saying that all the devatas, they assembled near the shore, and how they seek the attention of Lord Vishnu by Purusha Shukta prayers. Right? So if you want to seek the attention of Krishna, you need to call out his names. Right? Sixth canto, same thing, Ajamil. Right? Ajamil, the way he seek the attention of Vishnu was through calling out his name, Narayan. Mriyamano Hare Nama Grinan Putro Pacharitam Ajamilopya Gaddhama Kimuta Shadaya Grinan. Right? Kimuta Shadaya Grinan. Mriyamano Hare Nama. So just by chanting the holy names of the Lord, even indirectly, Mriyamano Hare Nama Grinan Putro Pacharitam. He was actually indirectly chanting his son's name. I forgot the name of the devotee, he was mentioning that just because he has named his son as Narayan, that doesn't mean that now the word Narayan is his. It is still the Lord Narayan. That's how Narayan thinks it. It's still my name. So, Grin Patra Pacharitam, Ajamilopya Agadhama. Ajamil also reached Agadhama, the topmost destination. Ajamila Kimuta Shraddha Agranam. Where is a doubt? This holy name will not work. Where is a doubt? So, just by calling out the name of Krishna, we seek the attention of Krishna. And that's what they did. So, these fundamentals were there with everyone. Everybody knew how to get the attention. So, they didn't just went and started saying, okay, this is the news. They first started glorifying. They first started worshipping to get that attention. So everyone started, all the people who wanted to inform Krishna, they started seeking the attention through glorification. Go to the next one, 7th verse.
Lord Savita has come to see you, O Lord of the universe. He is blinding everyone's eyes with his intensely effulgent rays.
Yeah, we can go ahead, 8th verse. So now they are saying that they informed that Sun God has come, Savita has come.
The most exalted demigods in the 3 worlds are certainly anxious to see you out. O Lord, now that you have hidden yourself among the Yadu dynasty, thus the unborn Sun God has come to see you here.
Yeah, go to the next one.
Shukadeva Goswami continued, hearing these innocent words, the lotus-eyed Lord smiled broadly and said, "This is not the sun god, Ravi, but rather Satrajit, who is glowing because of his jewel."
Yeah. Actually, Maji, can we go to the advanced version? I just want to make sure we are not missing on the purport. There are very less purports. So better we complete the chapter only. Right? We can at least say that we completed 1 chapter of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Can go to the purport. Yeah. So I don't know if it has this one, but anyways, we can go to the 9th verse. First 8 verses, if there are purports, it's for homework. You can complete it later. 9th verse. Yeah, we have already completed one. We can go down. So in the 9th verse, here, Krishna is trying to correct him. Correct them. This is not sun god Ravi, but he is rather Shatrajit. He is not sun god, but he is Satrajit. So here, what is the way to actually finally get correction is through taking shelter of authority. We need to take shelter of authority. Otherwise, we'll keep on assuming things or speculating things. The way to avoid that speculation is by shelter of authority. And same thing is mentioned even in the Ishopanishad. When Anuman and Pratyaksha will not work, then what will work? Shabda Praman. Right? Again, asking the authority. Right? A very simple analogy is given that if a child wants to know his father, he will ask mother, right? He will ask mother. The other easier way, very easy way, other than mother, is actually do a DNA testing of each and every male in this world. It will just take around 800 years, that's it. Right? But then we realize that easier way is actually asking the mother, right? Similarly, in order to know the Father, Krishna, we have to take the shelter of scriptures. We have to take the shelter of scriptures. We have to take the shelter of Guru. And that is why we see in Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, in fact, all the bona fide Sampradayas, the importance of Guru is again and again given. Because without Guru, we are lost. Yeah, without Guru, we are lost. So here also, they all took shelter of authority, Krishna, and then Krishna corrected that he is not sun god, but he is Satrajit. He is Satrajit. Okay. We can go to the next verse.
King Satyajit entered his opulent home festivity executing auspicious rituals. He had qualified brahmanas install the Syamantaka jewel in the house temple room.
Yeah. So now King Satyajit is trying to install the Syamantaka jewel. Now he has a Syamantaka jewel from the sun god. So he is trying to install it. Yeah, we can go to the next verse.
Each day the gem would produce 8 bharas of gold, my dear Prabhu, and the place in which it was kept and properly worshipped would be free of calamities such as famine or untimely death, and also of evils like snake bites, mental and physical disorders, and the presence of deceitful persons.
Let me discuss the one of the features of Kali Yuga is that untimely death, but that will also go away just by having Syamantaka jewel. All calamities, Adi Devik will completely get destroyed only. Imagine, right? But with Syamantaka jewel, there is another problem, right? Because it's a boon, and we need to have that purity to handle that boon, right? We'll see that. Can we go to the purport? Yeah, Mataji, you want to continue the purport? Who was reading translation? Yeah, they can read the purport.
Srila Sridhar Swami gives the following Shastric reference concerning the bhara. Should I read the verses?
Yeah, we'll try to complete the chapter.
Chaturbhir, Prabhuji, I will not be able to.
Okay, someone else can. Okay, yeah, Malini Mataji can read.
Chaturbhir vrihibhir gunjam gunja pancha panam panan ashtau dharanam ashtau cha karsham tams chaturapalam tulam pala shatam prahur bharasyad vimshatistula.
4 rice grains are called 1 gunja, 5 gunjas, 1 pana, 8 panas, 1 karsha, 4 karshas, 1 pala, and 100 palas, 1 tula. 20 tulas make up 1 bhara. Since there are about 3,700 grains of rice in an ounce, the Syamantaka jewel was producing approximately 170 pounds of gold
170 pounds of
day.
gold every day. My God. Yesterday, when I was going through this chapter, I actually Googled what is the cost of 170 pounds of gold. It is actually close to $4 million. We can have so many Jeff Bezoses running around. $4 million every single day. We can have so many temples, so many books. I mean, 170 pounds of gold. 170 pounds of gold. And that's why Satyajit couldn't part away from the Syamantaka jewel. Right? So, yeah, we can go ahead.
On one occasion, Lord Krishna requested Satyajit to give the jewel to the Yadu king, Ugrasena, but Satyajit was so greedy that he refused. He gave no thought to the seriousness of the offense he committed by denying the Lord's request.
Yeah. So here, Krishna is trying to give him a chance that, you give this Syamantaka jewel to Ugrasen. He's a king. If he handles it, it will be better. He will use it for general populace. But Satyajit couldn't part way, right? So we see the next point that we see is selfishness or selflessness. He was selfish. He wanted to have that. He wanted to enjoy that, the Syamantaka jewel, right? And we see same thing with Yudhishthir Maharaj. Yudhishthir Maharaj got Akshay Patra. But what he did, he used it for feeding the Brahmanas. 60,000 Brahmanas every single day. It used to stop only after Draupadi has had the food from that Akshaya Patra. So we see that contrast between Shatrajit, who got the Syamantaka jewel, but he wanted to keep everything with himself. What use he is having. And that is why Krishna said that you give that Syamantaka jewel to someone else. But Yudhishthira, he never said that. Right? And Yudhishthira Maharaj was using the Akshaya Patra, but he was using it for someone else. That food for life, although ISKCON started, but it was Yudhishthira Maharaj started way long back. Right? So here we see that selfishness, and either we can go for selfishness or we can go for selflessness. Choice is ours. Same, Hiranyakashipu, right? We get the boon, he got the boon. Vaishyaru always says that we might get the boon, but do we have the potency or purity to handle that boon, right? That purity Hiranyakashipu also didn't have. So that same boon actually was the reason for his death. Same boon that he got was the reason for his death. And same thing goes for even Shatrajit. We will see that the same boon that he got, that Syamantaka jewel, was actually reason for his death. Mataji, can we go to 11th canto, 23rd chapter, verse number 17? It talks about how money or wealth can be very dangerous sometimes. It is said money is sweeter than honey because honey only satisfies the tongue, but money satisfies everything. Right? Sargado prakritir yasya karya karana rupini satvadi bhir gunair purusho vyakta ikshate. Translation. In the beginning of creation, nature assumes by the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. No, sorry. 17th verse. That's what I was thinking. 23rd chapter. 11:23, 17. When I saw the creation nature. Yeah. No, that is the reason, lust, as we discussed. Yeah, arthasya. Arthasya sadhane siddhe utkarshe rakshane vyaye nashopa bhoga ayasas trashas chinta brahmo ninam. In the earning, attainment, increase, protection, expense, loss, and enjoyment of wealth, all men experience great labor, fear, anxiety, and delusion. Right? So in the earning, attainment, increase, protection, expense, loss, and even in expending, even in expenditure also, we experience great labor, fear, anxiety, and delusion. We see this, right? Fear. In birds, if you see, whenever the birds come and try to eat some grains, they're continuously in anxiety. Continuously they're in anxiety, someone will come and snatch it away. Right? And that anxiety we'll see in human beings also, maybe not facially, but in the mind, the disturbance will be there. While we are eating, we'll be thinking stock is going down or stock is going up. What will happen if everything is go back, right? Goes. So fear, anxiety, and delusion is constantly being there because of that wealth. That is the nature of the wealth. Right? We also see that Srimad-Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 17th chapter, verse number 38. Can we go to that place? Kali is asking, where can I take shelter? 1738. 1st canto, 1738. So Parikshit Maharaj first, he gives in the 4 regular principles that Krishna consciousness, Srila Prabhupada gave. Why that 4 regular principles he gave is because of this verse. It's not like Srila Prabhupada, whatever he wrote in his books was all coming from his disciplic succession. He writes in Bhagavad-gita, whatever I have written, the commentary, I have neither added nor subtracted anything. Everything comes from disciplic succession. That is why the Bhagavad-gita as it is. So the 4 regular principles also actually comes from here. Sutta uvacha abhyartitas tadas tasmai sthanani kalaye dadau dyutam panam striya shuna yatra dharmas chaturvida. In translation, Sutta Goswami said, Maharaj Parikshit, thus being petitioned by the personality of Kali, gave him permission to reside in places where gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter were performed. Right? So these are the 4 regular principles even in Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada, by giving these 4 regular principles, is actually protecting us because that means there is Kali is residing. And then in the next verse, Kali says that Ani, I need more. I need more place to stay. This is not enough. Because that time in Kali Yuga, when Parikshit Maharaj was there, these things were not happening. So then she says, then Srimad-Bhagavatam explains, Punascha yacha manaya jata rupam adat prabhu taton ritam madam kamam rajo vairam cha panchamam. This is the fifth place. The personality of Kali asked for something more, and because of his begging, the king gave him permission to live where there is gold, basically hoarding of gold. Because wherever there is gold, there is also falsity, intoxication, lust, envy, and enmity. Nalakura, Manigriva, we saw that. They were intoxicated physically also and mentally also because of the wealth that they had, because of that inheritance. Not the classes inheritance, but that family inheritance. So, we'll go back to the... So, we see the nature of wealth. Nature of wealth. We'll go to Satyajit. So, 13th verse, yeah.
Once Satyajit's brother, Prasena, having hung the brilliant jewel about his neck, mounted a horse and went hunting in the forest.
Yeah. Once you can read the purport.
Purport? The inauspicious result of Satyajit's refusal of Lord Krishna's request is about to manifest.
Yeah. Verse number 14.
A lion killed Prasena and his horse and took the jewel. But when lion entered a mountain cave, he was killed by Jambavan, who wanted the jewel.
Yeah. So now after Satyajit, he already lost now one brother because of the Syamantaka jewel. Right? We are seeing people losing. Right? People losing their lives because of the Syamantaka jewel. Now Jambavan is supposed to be a very great Vaishnav. He protected Lord Ramachandra. I mean, he helped Lord Ramachandra in the Ramayana. But we see that Syamantaka jewel in the nature. You can go ahead, Prabhu.
Within the cave, Jambavan let his young son have the Syamantaka jewel as a toy to play with. Meanwhile, Satyajit, not seeing his brother return, became deeply troubled.
Yeah. So we see that how children, sometimes they get attached to toy also. And he was just playing. Once a devotee mentioned on this toy, he said that once a small child, he went to a sannyasi, and because children, they don't know much. So he gave the toy to sannyasi. And he said, this is from me. You keep this toy. So sannyasi kept it. And then later on he told to his parents, yeah, there is a verse in Bhagavad-gita, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. And then he said, yes, you can offer anything to Krishna, but with love and devotion, he or his devotees. Yeah, right. So basically, this child also here, he was just happy playing with the toy. And we'll take a pause here. It's 9:25. Yeah, we can take some reflections. Something that struck, and Vaishya Prabhu says, something that struck. If you go out and someone, when you're doing books, and if says, how was your morning? So if they say, can you share something what you heard? So what would you like to share? And as Shamru Prabhu also said, sharing means caring. Just help all of us to remember.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for the class. I was just reflecting on the point that you mentioned about speculation and how you brought up that very nice verse about Balabhadra Bhattacharya wanting to go and see Kaliya. Going to see Krishna who was dancing on the hoods of the Kaliya. And you also mentioned how you make a lot of speculation or assumptions. So I was also, when I was reading that section about Balabhadra Bhattacharya, I was wondering, how is it possible that you're living with the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, and then you're telling Krishna that, I want to go and see Krishna. It seems a little ironic how we can do that. And then in the purport, actually, Srila Prabhupada mentions that you may live with a spiritual master or Krishna personally, physically next to him, but still you can miss him, miss seeing him.
Yeah.
But he said that only if you follow the instructions of the spiritual master or Krishna, then Krishna will show you the real thing. So you might be personally, physically serving your spiritual master, but unless you follow the instructions given by spiritual master, you may not be able to see the real thing. You may just see the externals. But once you follow his instructions, then Krishna will show you the real thing. So I felt that was nice.
Amazing. I was just remembering Bhagavad-gita. Arjuna was very close to Krishna. But once he started hearing the instructions from Krishna, then his heart transformed. So thank you. Thank you, Mataji. That's very nice. Yeah, and then obviously because of that, seeking from authority, as Mataji said, taking the instructions. While Mataji was saying, I was just remembering one pastime. Once Nandakumar Prabhu, he went to Srila Prabhupada and he brought some berries. And Nandakumar told Srila Prabhupada, these are berries. These are special type of berries. These are known as poison berries. Because it was discovered or created by a person named Poison. And what he did is he used multiple berries, tried to breed and tried to make a new type of berry from it. So Srila Prabhupada ate one berry and he said, this is very tasty. So he said, what is the name again? He said, poison berries. He said, oh, poison berries. So he said, no, poison berries. But Srila Prabhupada was trying to tease. He said, no, this is poison berries. And then what happened is later on, this devotee, Nandakumar, he offered it to Krishna. And then when he was giving to everyone, everybody started saying, no, Srila Prabhupada said not to eat this. This is poison berries. This is poison berries. But then Nandakumar went to Srila Prabhupada and Srila Prabhupada said, he said to Srila Prabhupada that, Srila Prabhupada, everyone is saying that this is poison berries and you are saying not to eat it. Then Srila Prabhupada said that people will keep saying, Srila Prabhupada said this, Srila Prabhupada said that. But unless it is coming from me directly, don't believe it. Or it is in my books. Otherwise, it will be some context will be there. But if it's in my books, take it as an instruction, as Mataji mentioned. Thank you. Yeah. So, yeah, one has to resolve that either don't have the assumptions or resolve the assumptions as soon as possible from seeking from authority. Thank you, Mataji. Hari Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the class so far. I really liked how you in the beginning mentioned the parallels between the Bhagavad-gita and the Bhagavatam. I didn't even realize there were so many. You pointed that out very well. And one more thing you said in the beginning was, or recently was, how Vaisheshika Maharaj says it's important not to just get association, but use it wisely by asking questions and hearing. So I thought that was important. Because like Maharaj also says, it's important to be at the right time in the right place and make use of it.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, taking the association, right association. Otherwise, it will just remain as Vapu. In fact, after the association has been taken, one should be inspired to actually follow. Actually, I wanted to tell one, suddenly when you said this, I remembered one. Sorry, Mataji, if I will be using your example. Malini Mataji also, how she came to Krishna consciousness was Bhaktivinoda Maharaj was there in her home. And obviously that association was there, but she took that advantage of that association. And just through serving, and then, because Bhaktivinoda Maharaj was there, he's so effulgent and just the presence is there, she took up Krishna consciousness. So we see that that power of association and obviously taking the right advantage of that association. That is very, very important. Thank you, Hari Prabhu. Thank you. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I like the examples you gave about the gold and the jewel, the story here. Krishna is like the most opulent, and one of the opulences is wealth. So it's these stories reminded me of in Canto 1, I think at the onset.
Which Canto?
Canto 1.
Canto 1.
Yeah, at the onset of Kali, I think when Arjuna returns to the kingdom and then the chapter describes how he was feeling. He had lost like his strength and everything. And so it made me think about when we have something really good, like even wealth, for example, we should try to, we should use it wisely in service of Krishna, and then we should also try to be thankful and have grateful, like, oh wow, thank you, Krishna, that you're giving me this, and I'll try to use it as the best as possible in your service.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yes, Prabhu. That even sometimes when there's a story where Vaisheshikar Prabhu, he was doing kirtan in Jagannath Puri, and one lady, very old lady, and sort of beggar. So the devotees gave books to that old lady, and that old lady somehow was able to, she first said, she was showing that I'm a beggar, I cannot give anything in return. But Vaisheshikar Prabhu was sort of, the pressure was coming on the beggar because everyone was chanting and sort of giving her the glance that you have to give something. You have to give something. And then finally, after that beggar trying to avoid that, how can I give? I'm a beggar, right? Sometimes beggar also has a pride. Why should I give? I'm a beggar. But obviously in Jagannath Puri, everyone is a great Vaishnava staying in Holy Dham. She finally gave that Lakshmi. And then obviously, as we are talking, that how advanced Vaishnava understands the value of that money, every penny. He took that and he told one of the devotees to keep this very properly and use it for Krishna's Krishna's movement, Krishna's mission. This will give some sukruti. So same thing here, Krishna is telling to to Shatrajit that you will misuse this, give it to me and we will use it for Krishna's service. So yeah, thank you Prabhu, reminding that again. We'll take one last one. Yours? You're saying? Okay, I thought, no. Okay, we'll continue then. We'll go to the 16th verse. Yeah. Who was reading?
He said, Krishna probably killed my brother, who went to the forest wearing the jewel on his neck. The general populace heard this accusation, and they began whispering it in one another's ears.
Yeah, they started whispering. So the next point is spreading rumors. None of them knew actually what is the situation, right? But they started spreading rumors already. So the next S is spreading rumors. It is said that great minds discuss wisdom. Great minds discuss wisdom. Average minds discuss events. And small minds discuss people. So, Prajalpa. Once Srila Prabhupada, there is one conversation where Srila Prabhupada was saying something that how sometimes people do spread rumors, and he started saying pss, 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 like that. That is a noise that people make. And the conversation, if you go, now how to translate this? Pss, 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 pss. So in that it is written P-H-I-S-H, P-H-I-S-H. Psh, 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 like that. It is just written if you see the written form, they try to match what Srila Prabhupada was trying to create that sound. So, but here we see that spreading rumors can be dangerous. None of them knew actually what is the reason, but they all jumped on it. Obviously, some of them, not all Dwarkavasis. Acharyas mentioned that people with poor consciousness, they did this. We'll go ahead. 17th verse.
When Lord Krishna heard this rumor, he wanted to remove the stain on his reputation. So he took some of the Dwarka citizens with him and set out to retrace Prasena's path.
Yeah, so here we see in the 17th verse, we see that here they were all trying to, there was a stain now on Krishna, right? So now what you should do? So the next point is sort the misunderstanding or remain silent. Either you have to sort that misunderstanding or you have to remain silent. If you see, Krishna at various situations did different things. At time of Bhishma, when he wanted to attack Bhishma, right? That time Arjuna is saying to Krishna, that don't do this. When he got down on the chariot just to protect Arjuna. And Arjuna said that don't do this. You said that you are not supposed to fight. You will have a bad name. He didn't care. It is okay for a bad name to come to me, but I want to kill Bhishma. That time he was, what was his mood? That of a protector of the devotee. For protector of the devotee, he will do anything. He will go to any extent. right? That's why in Bhagavad-gita he says, Arjuna, you declare, Kaunte pratijani na me bhakti pranashati, that I will not, I will protect my devotee at any extent, right? And then we see another section where he's, imagine a person running away from the battlefield, right? You will think that why this guy is running, I mean, it will be a bad name, right? But he knew this Jarasandha, I mean, 17 times I've already defeated him. What is the point of again, right? So he left the place. And then Kalayavan started running behind Krishna. Yeah, there also he was running only, right? But why he did all that? To deliver Muchukanda. Again, he was okay to have that bad name, right? So both the places, he remained silent. But in this case, he's acting on it, right? He's fighting for that misunderstanding. Why? Because here, he's a king. And as a king, he has to, if the king has a bad name, then that's why a leader, if he has a bad name, then it's like a house of cards. Everything will get tumbled. So he understood that Krishna. That's why at different places he's doing time, place, circumstance. Here, he's sorting that misunderstanding. He had to. Because here, his mood is that of a king, right? Dwarkadish. So, yes. So he has sought the misunderstanding or remain silent. We can go to the next one.
In the forest, they found Prasena and his horse, both killed by the lion. Further on, they found the lion dead on a mountainside, slain by Raksha Jambavan.
Yeah, we can go ahead. Nineteenth verse, Mataji. Mataji, you can scroll down, 19th verse. He's already slain now.
The Lord stationed his subjects outside the terrifying, pitch-dark cave of the king of the bears, and then he entered alone.
Yeah. Go to the 20th verse, Prabhu.
There, Lord Krishna saw that the most precious of jewels had been made into a child's plaything. Determined to take it away, he approached the child.
Right now the drama, the focus shifting on Jambavan and his child. We see that this nature of the Syamantaka jewel, it can be so dangerous, right? Selfishness, selflessness, what we discussed earlier, right? We saw the example of Yudhishthira Maharaj. There is another example of Duryodhan and Arjuna, right? So Krishna was lying on the bed. He was just taking a rest. And then Arjuna comes and Duryodhan comes. One had a chance to take Krishna, right? And one had a chance to take Narayani Sena, right? Similarly, either Shyam Sundar or Syamantaka, right? Either Shyam Sundar or Syamantaka. But Arjuna took Shyam Sundar. And what did Duryodhan took? He took the Narayani Sena. He was happy, although he was showing that I got Narayani Sena. But outside, Srivas Pandit Prabhu, how he explains that picture is, he says that as soon as Duryodhan stepped out of the room, he started doing cartwheels. He started doing cartwheels because he said, yes, I got that Narayani Sena. And there's a very beautiful section there where Krishna is saying to Arjuna, it's written by a poet, it's in Hindi. He says, हार तेरी निश्चित है, तू रहेगा सदा उदास, माखन लेके वो गया, रह गया तेरी छास. You are going to be defeated, you are going to lose the battle, हार तेरी निश्चित है. Because you are losing the battle, you will always be sad. तू रहेगा सदा उदास. Makhan, butter. He took the butter and what is remaining is buttermilk. Buttermilk is what? You put water in it and becomes like very thin, right? I mean, value-wise, butter is more costly than buttermilk, right? But Arjuna is a devotee. So how Arjuna answers to Krishna, जीत मेरी निश्चित है, दास कभी ना होगा उदास, माखन लेके क्या करूँ जब माखन चोर है मेरे पास, right? So he says that, don't worry Krishna, I will win the battle, right? जीत मेरी निश्चित है, and a servant of you will never be sad. What will I do of that butter when butter thief is with me, right? So we see that. So I was translating just in case. So we see that the mood of a devotee, right? Mood of a devotee. But we see that Satyajit, he went, Krishna tried to try to instruct him. Same thing, right? Krishna is trying to instruct us through Bhagavad-gita, but we are not listening, sort of. At least I can tell for myself. We'll go ahead. Verse number 21.
The child's nurse cried out in fear upon seeing that extraordinary person standing before them. Jambavan, strongest of the strong, heard her cries and angrily ran toward the Lord.
Right, now what we are saying is Jambavan, who helped Ramachandra, right? Now he is going to fight against Krishna. You know why is that fight happening? Just because of the attachment of the child. Just because of the attachment of the child, that is happening. And in Sanskrit, attachment to material things is known as snehapash. So next point is snehapash. He was so much attached to the child, and because of that, he didn't even realize that, this is my Krishna. He is the same Lord Ramachandra. And Vishwan Chakravarti Thakur explains that nurse, it's just mentioned that nurse is running because of fear. But actually she was running because of the ecstasy, because she saw Krishna. Anyways, he's a Rasikacharya, so he has his own understanding. He's amazing. Yeah, we can go ahead. Now we have race against time, 20 minutes.
Unaware of his true position and thinking him an ordinary man, Jambavan angrily began fighting with the Supreme Lord, his master.
Right? Unaware of his true position, in thinking an ordinary man, Jambavan angrily began fighting with the Supreme Lord, his master. Right? Here, why is he fighting? Now he is a pure devotee of the Lord. Right? He was protecting. He was helping. He was helping Lord Ramachandra. Right? But then why is he fighting now with Krishna? So again, Vishwan Chakravarti Thakur explains that there are two reasons. One is because Krishna was tired with fighting with some, weak demons like Kamsa and these are nothing. Kamsa, Putana are like dolls for him, right? And then Trinavarta, it's like some kind of windmill, right? So he was thinking that these are small. I'm Krishna, I want to fight with someone. So at the end, who will come to Krishna to help him is his devotees. Right? Jai Vijay, we see the same story. Jai Vijay. Right? He comes, finally Jai Vijay is the one who actually comes as Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyakashipu to help Krishna to have that Virya Ras. Right? So, then same here, the next point is serving Krishna. So, even Jambavan wanted to serve Krishna. Because of that, by the Yogamaya potency, he completely, for a moment, he forgot that this Krishna is same Lord Ramachandra, who I helped in Ramayana. He completely forgot. But the idea was actually to serve Krishna. We can complete the purport quickly. It's a small purport.
The words Purusham Prakritim Matva, thinking him a mundane person, are very significant. So-called Vedic scholars, including most Western ones, enjoy translating the word Purusham as man, even when the word refers to Lord Krishna, and thus their unauthorized translations of Vedic literature are tainted by their materialistic conceptions of the Godhead. However, here it is clearly stated that it was because Jambavan misunderstood the Lord's position that he considered him Prakrit Purusha, a mundane person. In other words, the Lord is actually Purushottam, the ultimate transcendental person.
Yeah, we can go to the next verse, Mataji, 23rd.
The two fought fiercely in single combat, each determined to win, contending against each other with various weapons and then with stones, tree trunks, and finally their bare arms. They struggled like two hogs battling over a piece of flesh.
Yeah. Who is supposed to read? Maybe we can.
The fight went on without rest for 28 days, the two opponents striking each other with their fists, which fell like the cracking blows of lightning.
Yeah. You can read the purport, it's one line.
Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti points out that the fight continued day and night without intermission.
Right, so we see the serving attitude of Jambavan. Although Jambavan didn't know that, he will come to know later on, but at the end, the devotees are the ones who will be able to serve Krishna to the fullest. Right? Serve Krishna to the fullest. Go ahead, Mataji.
His bulging muscles pummeled by the blows of Lord Krishna's fists, his strength faltering and his limbs perspiring, Jambavan, greatly astonished, finally spoke to the Lord.
Yeah. Finally, he realized, no.
Should we read the translation?
You can read this, Mataji. You can read this also.
I know now that you are the life, air, and the sensory, mental, and bodily strength of all living beings. You are Lord Vishnu, the original person, the supreme, all-powerful controller.
Yeah. Who wants to read 27? Someone can volunteer.
You are the ultimate creator of all creators of the universe, and of everything created, you are the underlying substance. You are the subduer of all subduers, and the supreme Lord, supreme soul of all souls. As Lord Kapila stated in the Srimad-Bhagavatam 3:25-42, Mrityus charati mad bhayat. Death himself moves about out of fear of me.
Yes, thank you. Go ahead. We'll now we have only 10 minutes. We'll quickly run.
You are he who impels the ocean to give way when his sidelong glances, slightly manifesting his anger, disturbed the crocodiles and timingala fish within the watery depths. You are he who built a great bridge to establish his fame, who burned down the city of Lanka, and whose arrows severed the heads of Ravan, which then fell to the ground.
Shukadev Goswami continued, O king, Lord Krishna then addressed the king of the bears, who had understood the truth. The lotus-eyed personality of Godhead, the son of Devaki, touched Jambavan with his hand, which bestows all blessings, and spoke to his devotee with sublime compassion, his grave voice deeply resounding like a cloud.
Lord Krishna said, It is for this jewel, O Lord of the bears, that we have come to your cave. I intend to use the jewel to disprove the false accusations against me.
Right, there were spreading rumors against him, right? So now, finally, 32nd.
Thus addressed, Jambavan happily honored Lord Krishna by offering him his maiden daughter Jambavati together with the jewel.
Right, finally, what he is doing, Jambavan is surrendering to the Lord. Right, so the 7th point is surrender to the Lord. So once you have come to the senses, you have understood that you have screwed up big time. So what is the antidote? Is to surrender unto the Lord. So who is the next? Someone can read 33rd.
After Lord Sauri had entered the cave,
see, Krishna's another name, Shauri. Right? Another is.
The people of Dwarka who had accompanied him had waited 12 days without seeing him come out again. Finally, they had given up and returned to their city in great sorrow.
When Devaki, Rukmini Devi, Vasudev, and the Lord's other relatives and friends heard that he had not come out of the cave, they all lamented.
Yeah.
Cursing Satrajit, the sorrowful residents of Dwarka approached the Durga deity named Chandrabhaga and prayed to her for Krishna's return.
When the citizens had finished worshipping the demigoddess, she spoke to them in response, promising to grant their request. Just then Lord Krishna, who had achieved his purpose, appeared before them in the company of his new wife, filling them with joy.
Seeing Lord Rishikesh return as if from death, accompanied by his new wife and wearing the Syamantaka jewel on his neck, all the people were roused to jubilation.
You want to read the... Machi, you can complete the purport.
According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, Jambavan had placed the jewel on the Lord's neck when he had presented his daughter in marriage.
Yeah.
Lord Krishna summoned Satyajit to the royal assembly. There, in the presence of the king, Ugrasena, Krishna announced the recovery of the jewel and then formally presented it to Satyajit.
Right, so Satyajit was spreading rumors that, Krishna has only taken it, Krishna has killed my brother, and he has only taken it. By the way, I was mentioning there will be another S coming, that is Sukumar, the son of Jambavan is Sukumar. It's not mentioned here, but Acharya explained that. So another, we see that. So yeah, so now Satyajit realizes that he also screwed up, right? All because of Syamantaka jewel. We'll see. 39th verse. You are reading? Yeah, go ahead.
Hanging his head in great shame, Satyajit took the gem and returned home, all the while feeling remorse for his sinful behavior.
Remorse. The next point is self-reproach. Self-reproach is feeling ashamed, realizing that I have made a mistake. If that self-reproach is not there, then the next self-development will not happen. So self-reproach. He understood that he has made a mistake. If you see Ajamil's case also was same. By showing Yamadutas, Vishnudutas could have come directly. But because he got that glimpse of Yamadutas, he understood that entire life I was living like a sinful person. And that self-reproach came, and then Vishnudutas came, and then it's not like he got the license to go back home, back to God immediately. He actually performed austerities, he performed penance, he realized his mistake. And that self-reproach then led to self-development. And yeah. So the 8th one is self-reproach. So go ahead.
Pondering over his grievous offense and worried about the possibility of conflict with the Lord's mighty devotees, King Satyajit thought, how can I cleanse myself of my contamination, and how may Lord Acyuta become satisfied with me? What can I do to regain my good fortune and avoid being cursed by the populace for being so short-sighted, miserly, foolish, and avaricious? I shall give my daughter, the jewel of all women, to the Lord, together with the Syamantaka jewel. That indeed is the only proper way to pacify him.
Right, after becoming the self-reproach, after realizing that there's a mistake here, what he was trying to do next was trying to satisfy Krishna. Right, he realized that this is not going anywhere. I have to think of satisfaction of Krishna. Once you think of satisfaction of Krishna, then everyone, including yourself, will be happy. Right? People. That's why Narad Muni says in Srimad-Bhagavatam, Yatha taro mula nishechenena trapyanti tats bhujopashakha. Just by watering the root of the tree, all the branches, everything is watered. Everyone is nourished. Just as one finger is not trying to fight with the other finger, this food should go to me. Everyone is trying to just feed the stomach. Because once stomach gets, everyone will be happy. Right? So same thing here. Satyajit understood that I am trying to become happy from my own way without having Krishna. But he realized that the only way to become happy is by satisfying the Lord, satisfying Krishna. Okay.
Having thus intelligently made up his mind, King Satyajit personally arranged to present Lord Krishna with his fair daughter and the Syamantaka jewel.
The Lord married Satyabhama in proper religious fashion. Possessed of excellent behavior along with beauty, broad-mindedness, and all other good qualities, she had been sought by many men. Srila Sridhar Swami explains that men such as Kritvarma had sought the hand of Satyabhama.
I was just thinking that, in our life, if marriage and all is happening, we just have to give an interview maybe, not much. Krishna, for Rukmini, for Jambavati, for Satyabhama, he had to fight constantly. Our life is just, Krishna has to go so much just for his devotees.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead told Satyajit, we do not care to take this jewel back. O King, you are the sun god's devotee, so let it stay in your possession. Thus we will also enjoy its benefits.
Yeah, here Vishnu Chakra Thakur, I don't know whether it's mentioned here. INE. Okay, go ahead, it's mentioned.
Satyajit should have worshipped Lord Krishna, the Supreme God. Thus, there is certainly a touch of irony in Lord Krishna saying, after all, you are a devotee of Sun God. Right, furthermore, Krishna had already acquired Satyajit's greatest treasure, the pure and beautiful Satyabhama.
Yeah. It's very nice that Srila Prabhupada mentioned that everything what I mentioned in Srimad-Bhagavatam and Bhagavad-gita is coming from previous acharyas. And after that, when Srila Prabhupada left the planet, when his disciples started writing, they also actually wrote everything from previous acharyas. So all this that we are seeing, actually Srila Vishwanath Thakur mentions exactly the same thing. They have just converted into English. So if you read Bhanu Maharaj's book, Vishwanath Thakur's commentary, exactly it is, everything is same. That conversion, all that is mentioned in Vishwanath Thakur's commentary as well. So it is very nice to see that, they are also in the same footsteps. They are walking, the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. So we see at the end of the story that how the Syamantaka jewel, that money, they all were running behind that money, but finally that money, now we'll see in the 757, obviously we don't have time, but it will finally come back to Krishna. Finally it will come back to Krishna. So we see that we can run behind wealth, but real money goes back to Krishna. Lakshmi ji goes back to Krishna. There is a very beautiful poem, that's where we will stop after that. It's a song called Mukunda Mala Stotram that defines what is a real money. We're talking about Syamantaka money, right? What is a real money? Prabhu, can we go to Mukunda Mala Stotra, verse number 30? We are about time. We have 5 minutes, no? Just want to confirm. No. On google.com, just go to Mukunda Mala Stotram, KK songs. I mean, you can do to Bing also, but I'm expecting you'll got to go. No, here there are Google people, so. Yeah. 30. Very beautiful words this is, song. 30, you can just search 30, you should, no, 30, 30. Its link is correct, you have to just search for 30th verse. Let me try to ping you otherwise. Huh? If you want, I can project. Yeah, okay, it came. So this is same as Shad Goswami Ashtakam meter. We can all sing together. We are talking about money, right? Bhakta paya bhujanga garuda manis trailokya raksha mani Gopi lochana chat kambudamani saundarya mudramani Yah kanta mani rukmini ghanakucha dvandve kabhusha mani Shreyo deva shikhamani dishatuto Gopal chudamani. So this verse explains what is the real money then, right? We can go to translation and someone can take that opportunity to read the translation. It's very beautiful. Yes.
He is the jewel riding on the back of Garuda.
So who is the jewel? Krishna. He is the real money.
Who carries away the Lord's devotees on his wings. He is the magic jewel protecting the three worlds. The jewel-like cloud attracting the Chataka bird eyes of the gopis, and the jewel among all who gesture gracefully. He is the only jewel ornament on the ample breast of Queen Rukmini, who is herself the jewel of beloved consorts. May that crown jewel of all gods, the best of the cowherds, grant us the supreme benediction.
Right. So finally, Mukundamala Sutra explains who is the real money. That is Krishna. Thank you so much for patiently hearing and attentively trying to listen. So thank you. Hare Krishna. की जय.
राधाकुण्डं गिरिवरम् अहोराधिका माधवसं प्राप्तो यस्य प्रतीता कृपया श्रीगुरुं तं नतो अस्मि. हे गुरो ज्ञानानंद दीनबंधो स्वानंद दाता करुणानिको सिंधु वृंदावनासीन हितावतर प्रसीदा राधा प्रणया प्रचार. हे दीनबंधो करुणाक सिंधु गुरु प्रसादा मयि मंदमूर्ते लक्ष्य पराधे बहु पाप गाधे तत्पद्मय पद्मेस्तु मतिस्तक्षे Krishna. I bow down to the beautiful lotus feet of my spiritual master, by whose causeless mercy I have obtained the supreme holy name, the divine mantra, the service of the son of Sachi Mata, the association of Srila Swarup Damodar, Rupa Goswami and his older brother Sanatan Goswami, the supreme abode of Mathura, the blissful abode of Vrindavan, the divine Radha Kund and the Govardhan hill, and the desire within my heart for the loving service of Sri Radhika and Madhav in Vrindavan. O spiritual master, O giver of divine wisdom, O friend of the fallen, you are the giver of your own bliss and you are the only ocean of mercy. Although dwelling in Vrindavan, you have descended for the welfare of fallen souls like myself, and you are preaching the divine love of Radha for Krishna. Please be kind upon me. O friend of the lowly, O Gurudev, you are the only ocean of mercy. I am a dull fool and I have committed hundreds of thousands of offences. I have fallen into a dense myriad of sins. Therefore, grace me with your mercy so that my mind may be fixed on your lotus feet and on Sri Krishna. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. Our only wish is to have our consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens our darkened eyes and fills our hearts with transcendental knowledge. He is our Lord birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates. By him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord and the master of devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Bandhu Mui Savadana Mate Jahara Prasade Bhai He Bhavatoriyaye Krishna Prapti Hoya Hoite Krishna Prapti Hoya Hoite Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Kariya Ekya Arana Kari Ho Mane Asha Arana Kari Ho Mane Asha Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Utama Gati Ye Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Ye Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Chakshudan Dilo Jai Prabhu Sai Chakshudan Dilo Jai Janme Janme Prabhu Sai Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashita Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashita Prema Bhakti Yahan hoite Avidya Vinasha Jate Prema Bhakti Yahan hoite Avidya Vinasha Jate Vede Gaye Jahara Charita Vede Gaye Jahara Charito Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Ajama Janara Bandhu लोकेनाथ लोके राजीवाना हा हा प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे पद छाया हा हा प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे पद छाया हे बेजास कुसुम त्रिभुवाना हे बेजास कुसुम त्रिभुवाना प्रभुपाद पतित पावाना जय प्रभुपदा 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 लील प्रभुपदा जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा मदन मोहन राधे जय महाप्रभु 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 जय महाप्रभु जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमंस परिव्राज कचरे अस्तोत्र शिल भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमंस परिव्राज कचरे अस्तोत्र शिल भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचर्य शिल हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री गोप गोपीनाथ राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गिरिधारी गोवर्धन की श्री श्री गंगा मैया की यमुना मैया की वृंदावन धाम की मायापुर धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की द्वारका धाम की संवेद भक्त वृंद की all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Morning, evening, good time,
But I want to first confirm, we will have now.
We do daily actually, morning, evening, like we can ask later.
We'll have Katha.
What about announcements? I can't read Sanskrit. Sharira vidyacha jadendriya daheka jive pele vishaya sadhare paramadhi galati logam sudharmati take jeta
Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming. Just a quick announcement. Today we have Pumpkin Festival and lot of devotees you will be seeing who will be going out for books. It's one of the sweetest festival for distributing books in a year. You will see a lot of kids going there. So also obviously adults. But if you all are, anyone of you interested, you can connect with me or Acyuta Balram Prabhu is also there, Prenitya Prabhu. So you all can, whoever wants to come, please join. Yeah, and there is also Diwali festival in Fremont and Pleasanton. So in Diwali festival, we'll be giving the light of knowledge, Srimad-Bhagavatam. Right? So please, if you have time, please try to come. And you can contact Malini Mataji if you have any questions.
Hare Krishna. If you're planning to go to the Fremont Diwali Mela, so these Diwali Melas happen once a year in different cities. And there in Fremont we have a booth. And Pleasanton also we may have a booth. It's not finalized, but still we will have a spot there to put a table in Pleasanton as well. So if you're planning to go there, for Fremont, you can contact Kameshwari. Kameshwari and her team is going there. And in Pleasanton, you can contact Pranagopika Mataji. She's going there to the Pleasanton Diwali Mela. So please use this opportunity, especially it's in the month of Kartik, so you can distribute a lot of books there. Hare Krishna. So Charanimai Prabhu just reminded me that there will be book packing going on in the parking lot after Prasadam, and this will happen every Saturday. So, okay, Saturday and Sunday, both days. So if you want to join, or if you want to bring your friends, and if they want to use some volunteer hours to do some service at the temple, this is a very good opportunity, because very less skill is required, and there is no preconditions But you can just come with your family or with your colleagues or whoever it may be. You can invite them, and there will be book packing here. There will be prasadam provided for who's staying for book packing. Hansapriya Mataji made very nice chili soup, some Spanish rice. So whoever is staying back, you can get some. That's apart from the breakfast prasadam. Breakfast prasadam is different. So please stay back if you can, or invite your friends and come for the book packing and take some prasadam afterwards. Hare Krishna. Please come take prasadam. Prasadam will be served in the picnic area outside, just outside the door, and you can honor the prasadam. Hare Krishna. Today's prasadam is cooked by Yashodakripra Prabhu, Rampriya Prabhu, Yash Prabhu, and I'm missing somebody. Parth Prabhu. And Shama Bhakta Prabhu. Hare Krishna.